Thanks for starting your week with us. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Lee-Ji-yoon in Seoul. Before we dig into our top stories for today, let's first get a quick check of the day's highlights. Samsung ranks third on the global list of valued brands, right behind Apple and Google, with its value worth about $83 billion. The battle begins again. Korean ramen producers are trying to grab a larger piece of the premium instant noodle market once again, this time with a new option. These stories and more coming right up. But first, Korea's import prices went up for the first time in 8 months in February on the back of stabilizing global oil prices. The Bank of Korea says prices climbed 1.6% last month from the previous month, and the price of Dubai crude, Korea's benchmark, shot up 7.5% last month from January. Still, from a year earlier, import prices were down over 7%. Export prices in February also rose 0.8% from a month ago as Korean won weakened against the U.S. dollar. The local currency depreciated 1.3% on month in February to 1,217 won against the greenback. Domestic gasoline costs are starting to rise nationwide, reflecting the price increase of international benchmarks like Brent crude, which is now hovering around the $40 mark. According to Korea National Oil Corporation, the average price of gasoline across the country was 1,342 won, or about $1.13 per liter as of Friday, up for 5 straight days. Now, market watchers project oil prices will continue to climb throughout the next 2 to 3 weeks. Last week, Dubai crude zipped past the $36 mark, hitting the highest levels this year. Meanwhile, crude and commodities have been showing signs of bullishness after the International Energy Agency on Friday announced oil prices may have bottomed out. And for more on last week and this week's stock market action, we have our markets reporter Choi Jin-seok from SBS CNBC joining us on the phone today. Hello, Jin-seok.
Thanks for having me, June.
All right, so let's get started by looking at the Korean stock market. Tell us about Friday's close and its overall performance last week.
The Kospi closed with a slight uptick at 1971 on Friday. It was the first time this year the index closed above 1970. Last week, the European Central Bank, or the ECB, lowered its interest rates further and expanded its monthly asset purchase program by 20 billion euros. However, European financial markets reacted negatively, even though the measures the ECB had announced were better than expected. Investors were disappointed that ECB President Mario Draghi ruled out possibilities of further rate cuts during his press conference. But the Korean equity market absorbed a positive catalyst from abroad, shrugging off those disappointments. On a weekly basis, the Kospi rose by 0.8%, while the Kosdaq enjoyed a 2.2% rally. In the Kosdaq, despite the Go battle between Google's artificial intelligence program AlphaGo and Lee-Sedol, stock prices of companies related to AI all gave back their gains last week.
All right, then. How did the Korean stock market do on the first day of this week?
Yes, both indices did not see much movement today, closing with a slight uptick. The Kospi briefly touched 1980 during the session, rising as high as 1985 for the first time this year. But the market lost most of its intraday gains due to heavy sell-off by institutional investors. In both markets, foreigners and retail investors were net buyers, while institutions dumped stocks. The debut of the much-hyped individual savings account, or ISAs, boosted the share prices of the key domestic banks and brokerages, lifting the sectors to be some of the best performers of the market during today's session. But these sectors also lost their gains towards market close, preventing the indices from gaining further ground.
Now, with the ECB and Bank of Korea's monetary policy meetings behind us, the focus is rapidly moving toward the Federal Reserve and the Bank of Japan this week. Now, experts have pretty much ruled out an interest rate hike in the U.S. this month, right?
That's right. Following market jitters that surfaced after the Fed's rate hike in December, the likelihood of another rate hike in March seemed to be slim to none. But given dovish moves from other major central banks, investors will likely pounce on any signal that the Fed is willing to pull the trigger on another rate hike within this year. In other words, experts have said since other central banks have shown a more aggressive stance on boosting inflation, the Fed has more leeway to keep tightening. According to the Wall Street Journal and Reuters, experts expect maximum 2 rate hikes this year, possibly one in June and another at the end of the year. Since the monetary stance of the Fed has been having a huge impact on the Korean economy and financial markets, market participants will keep a close eye on the meeting. The results will come out Thursday morning, Korea time.
Now, China's biggest policy event, Liangwei, is soon coming to a close. What other highlights have you seen emerge from these two meetings?
Yes, China experts have been emphasizing the importance of the opening and the closing of the two meetings, Liangwei. What we've seen from Premier Li Keqiang's speech at the start of the National People's Congress, or the NPC, was that China had officially declared the end of above 7% growth era. As we've already discussed, the Chinese government expects the country's growth rate will be in the range of 6.5 to 7%. To keep the country's growth above 6.5% for the next 5 years, China has decided to lean on fiscal stimulus, expanding its 2016 budget deficit to 3% of its GDP, which is officially 0.7 percentage point higher than last year. At the end of the NPC on March 16, market watchers expect to hear more details on China's 13th five-year plan. CNBC projected this year's 4 key agendas would be economic growth, addressing oversupply, the environment, and the military budget. Since we've already heard about growth and defense spending, more details on how to accelerate the country's transition to a more consumer-based growth model are expected to emerge. This has been Choi Jin-seok from SBS CNBC.
And more on the individual savings accounts, or ISAs, starting this Monday. People looking for new investment opportunities will be able to open these new accounts that come with the steep tax benefits at local banks or brokerage houses. The government will offer tax exemptions on profits of up to 2 million won, or 1,600 US dollars, made from their multifunction savings account. An ISA can be used not only for savings, but to manage financial products such as funds and stock investments. In anticipation of fierce competition, the chief of Korea's Financial Services Commission, Im Jong-yong, vowed to keep a close watch on institutions that fail to fully inform customers of the terms and risks associated with their investment. Authorities will set up a mechanism to track profits from each institution regarding the much-hyped ISA system in order to boost healthy competition. Korea's largest conglomerate, Samsung Group's brand value rose in dollar terms, but its ranks fell a notch from last year, while its rival Apple easily topped this year's list. Our Kim Min-ji has more.
Over 83 billion US dollars. That's a brand value of Samsung, Korea's top business group. According to UK-based industry tracker Brand Finance, that's up 1.8% from a year ago and puts Samsung in third place. Brand value is measured by taking into account various factors such as brand strength, brand loyalty, and brand revenues. The world's most valuable brand was Apple at $145.9 billion, up 14% on year. Google ranks second, rising a notch from the previous year. Other Korean conglomerates on the list included Hyundai in 36th and LG Group in 102nd. And the wealthier these brands are, the richer their owners tend to be. But how many of the world's richest people are self-made billionaires, and how many inherited their vast wealth? According to the U.S. Peterson Institute for International Economics, in Korea, most of the country's biggest business groups have been passed down through the controlling families, with 3 out of 4 billionaires in Korea inheriting their wealth. That puts Korea in 5th place among 67 countries. Finland and Kuwait top the list at 100%, meaning all billionaires inherited their wealth, while in Russia, all billionaires were self-made. Taking a look at some major economies, only 2% of billionaires in China inherited their wealth. The corresponding figure stood at over 18% for Japan and 29% for the US. Worldwide, those who succeeded on their own have been on the rise. In 1996, the proportion stood at 44%, but by 2014, it reached 69%, surpassing the figure of billionaires who inherited their wealth. However, in Korea, the number is still relatively low at 26%. Experts attribute the trend to Korea's Chaebol-centered economic structure and people's preference for stable jobs. Kim Min-ji, Business Daily.
Incheon International Airport has laid a set of ambitious goals. In collaboration with the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport, it announced plans to become the top airport in Northeast Asia and one of the top 5 in the world by 2020 in terms of passenger size. It says it will achieve this by gradually pushing for an open skies agreement with China from this year that will radically liberalize commercial aviation rules. The airport said it also plans to attract up to 110 airlines to provide more direct flights to India, as well as expanding routes to Iran and countries in Europe, South America, and Africa. Authorities also said the airport will double the number of parking spaces to roughly 32,000 and cut back on the time required for departure procedures so that it ends within 40 minutes. Now, attention is fixed on artificial intelligence as Korea's Lee Se-dol is set to face Google's AlphaGo in its 5th and final match of Baduk or Go tomorrow. And a fresh survey shows that 6 out of 10 men and women in Korea believe an AI robot could replace them in their jobs. The mobile survey was conducted by job portal Incrute of more than 3,600 people. And as for the reasons, the system's attention to detail topped the list, followed by stamina and perfection of execution. On the question of who would do the job better, only 14% said they would. A third said a robot would, and another 1/3 said they were not sure. Bags and bags of slightly more expensive premium instant noodle ramen packed supermarkets nationwide last year. And this year, the market is expected to heat up once again, as our Lee Joo-young tells us that companies are now going after soupless spicy cold noodles known as bibim-myeon.
Korea's ramen market saw a boom last year with a series of premium black bean jjajang and spicy seafood soup 짬뽕 instant noodles flooding stores nationwide. To keep the ball rolling, food manufacturers say they're now going after sweet and spicy bibim-myeon, which are sauce-based noodles that are consumed cold. The dish gets a lot more popular among Koreans when the temperatures start to climb.
In the winter, I would eat lots of soup-based ramyeon, but now that spring is here, I'll probably end up eating more bibim noodles.
Food producer Paldo has already jumped head-on into the race. It already holds a 65% market share in spicy cold noodles, but by offering a limited edition of its flagship product, it hopes to see colossal success. Samyang Food has also released its premium cold noodle brand, and Nongshim says it will roll out its new product next month. Global market research firm AC Nielsen says this comes as food companies look to ride the wave of premium brothless noodles, which saw sales skyrocket to $414 million last year, up 59.5% from 2012. With this, market watchers say they expect to see yet another fierce battle unfold in the instant noodle industry as companies step up the game with hot ideas that deliver a kick to the palate. Lee Joo-young, Business Daily.
And that wraps it up for today, but we'll be back tomorrow with more at the same time, same place for your Business Daily. So don't forget to tune in then. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.